The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Valley, hooey, Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan. And any barmaid can be a star maid if she dances with or without a plan. Hooray for Hollywood, where you're terrific if you're even good, where anyone at all from Shirley Temple to Amy Semple is equally understood. Go out and try your luck.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Damn You Hollywood. I'm your host, Alexis Hejna, and tonight, if you thought that just because we were out of October and into the Christmas season, it was time for things to get a little less spooky and scary, you were wrong, because Eli Roth, director of Hostel 1, 2, and pretty much the man who gave us the phrase torture porn, has now brought us a new holiday classic, Thanksgiving.
Yes, so Eli Roth, the man that has to be on Lee Wanell and James Wan's Christmas list every year. Thanks,
yeah,
bud.
Pretty much.
Without you, Saul would not exist. 10 movies in and growing.
Lee Wanell, James Wan, and Quentin Tarantino.
True.
And probably Robert Rodriguez.
Well, and isn't Eli Roth? He was Tarantino's protege for a while, wasn't he, or Rodriguez's?
More or less Tarantino's protege. He's also been in a handful of his movies. Those joining us and only listening to the audio, you just heard his voice. We almost have the unholy trinity tonight. Our third leg of the tripod will be joining us shortly. But for now, joining me is film director, horror buff, good friend, Mr. Dorian Price. Welcome.
Hello. Happy Thanksgiving late, everyone. Hope it was stress-free and wonderful. And if it wasn't, I hope that the cut-up bodies of your shitty family members that you hid in the back 40 have not been found yet, and you're enjoying a few more days of freedom. That being said, the W2W Network does not condone or encourage family murder.
Do I have to play the disclaimer again?
No, just so Mark's not like hitting me up on my phone like, what the hell are you saying?
And for the record, you do not hide the bodies in the backyard. You go a little ways, okay? Backyard's too easy for them to be found. The police always search the house first. And if you're like me and you have dogs, they're going to start digging up the backyard because they think they smell meat.
True.
Yeah. Damn it, Cleo. No, that's not a chew toy. That's a human hand.
Damn, that's grandma. Leave her alone.
I'm just now picturing Cleo running around the house with a severed human arm in her mouth, looking all adorable.
I brought you a gift right as the cops are interrogating you. It's like, that's just poor timing, you know.
Yeah, well, my dog excels at poor timing. Anyway, so yes, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. Now, for those who are not in the know, this started as a faux trailer from the 2007 Grindhouse double feature. That was Death Proof and Planet Terror. The idea was that the films had a couple of fake trailers done by well-known horror directors, including Robert Rodriguez, who also did Planet Terror, Rob Zombie, Edgar Wright, and, of course, Eli Roth. Now, Roth's is a little more infamous because it was so out there that trailer, not anything dealing with the movies, but that trailer nearly got the whole double feature an NC-17 rating.
Which, those of you who don't know, happens once in a freaking blue moon these days. NC-17 back in like the 70s happened all the time. But once we passed the new millennium, we barely used that at all. So the fact that it got that close was a little freaky.
Now, there still are NC-17 movies, but most high-end mainstream directors avoid them because an NC-17 rating is essentially your movie's death. You are not going to make any money because majority of theaters will not screen NC-17 films. You're going to be lucky if you make your budget back through those little art house theaters. Nothing against art house theaters. I love them. But you're not going to make a lot of money out of them. You know, you're a film director. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. It's art house is fun, but again, if you're going for the widespread marketing that would get you money to make bigger stuff, NC-17 is the literal final nail in your coffin.
So yes, we had a faux trailer in Grindhouse. Looked like it was done in the 1980s, featuring a serial killer in Plymouth, Massachusetts, slaughtering around Thanksgiving. We had Jordan Ladd, Jay Hernandez, and Michael freaking Biehn in the trailer. And I still stand by the only thing this movie truly did wrong was forfeiting bringing Michael Biehn back. Because everything's better with Michael Biehn.
Right. And then you could have killed him and, just kind of kept the party going.
Okay, I know Sean Bean said flat out, I am refusing to be killed in any more movies. I don't know if Michael Biehn said that.
One of the last big things he did was, at least big name things he did was Mandalorian, and obviously he gets killed in that. So I don't think he's really. I think he's just kind of leaned into it, like, it's paycheck.
Whatever, chop my head off.
Right. So at this point, he's a PhD and a Shakespearean trained actor in death.
But yeah, that trailer had a cheerleader stripping on a trampoline and then getting stabbed in the parts, as I'm going to call them. 3 decapitations, one of them with a guy who was getting his head cut off while his girlfriend was,
going down there.
Yeah. And an ending scene with a corpse in place of a turkey. Fully naked corpse to boot.
Wasn't there one point where there's a head stuffed into a turkey in the trailer? I seem to remember that. I went back.
I'm trying to remember because, oh my god, I don't remember that part. I mostly just remember the cop leaning down, going, "It's blood," and Michael Biehn going, "My god."
Yeah, no, I thought it was cranberry jam. Thank you, Sherlock. Thank God you're here. Although this is not about the movie we're talking about, but it is about another one of the trailers that was present in Grindhouse that also went on to be a film, which is the infamous, you probably never heard of it, Hobo with a Shotgun.
I tried to watch that movie. Tried. The scenes of the go-karts being used to explode various body parts made me go, nope, hitting my limit, click.
For those of our viewers who are over 21, a good helping of alcohol will smooth that movie's process. But we're not talking about Hobo with a Shotgun today. We are talking about Thanksgiving. And basically what we're doing now is we're stalling for Jason.
Pretty much. So again, this was made as faux trailer, very raunchy, very blatant. Roth basically said he wanted to throw every single raunchy thing he could think of into this trailer. He just wanted it to be so over the top. As he said, he wanted this to be that the fake trailer would be for a film that all prints were burned, theaters boycotted it, the director disappeared into the Amazon somewhere and hasn't been heard from since, and then someone very randomly found a copy of it and it ended up on 4chan. But then he said that is not what he wanted to present with this movie, with 2023's Thanksgiving. He said the idea was that someone had seen what had been leaked on 4chan and decided, you know what, why don't we make a version of that that's not going to make people want to gouge out their eyes.
We'll let that happen in the movie.
Yeah, it's like, let's not have a repeat of Cannibal Holocaust, shall we? You're a film nerd. You get that joke.
Memories all alone in the moonlight.
All right. So, yes, directed by Eli Roth. The screenplay written by Jeff Rendell, who wrote the story with Roth. Starring Patrick Dempsey. Freaking starring 2023 Sexiest Man Alive, according to People magazine.
Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations, you're in a crazy ass horror movie. You know, when you get your face on the cover of People magazine. Salute.
He's probably like, damn it, I should have been in Oppenheimer. I don't know if he was actually offered Oppenheimer, but I'm sure he might have been offered something else he turned down.
Everyone was offered an Oppenheimer. When we reviewed it, we were trying to go through the cast. It was like, okay, this is easier. Everyone is in this movie. God.
Were they in the Batman trilogy? Yes, then they're in it.
More than that. Yeah. Well, So we got, Patrick Dempsey, Addison Rae, Milo Manheim, Jalen Thomas Brooks, Nell Verlaque, I can't pronounce her last name, Rick Hoffman, and Gina Gershon. So this starts a year ago on Thanksgiving in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and we see a couple of groups getting together. We see Patrick Dempsey, who is the town sheriff, and he's going to meet up with some friends who are having him. That includes a man named Mitch. He is the manager at a shop called, what is the name of this shop? Right Mart. Right Mart. His wife. We also see the family that owns Right Mart. I hate to say it, that's part of the problem with this movie is that there's so many characters and a lot of them don't stick around very long because horror movie logic. So some of the names it's easy to forget.
All right.
So yes, we have Thomas Wright, who owns Right Mart, and his new fiance, I think she's his fiance and becomes his wife by the next year, persuades him to open Right Mart on Thanksgiving night as opposed to waiting for midnight to start at Black Friday. So Mitch gets called out to go work, and we have all seen those videos of the Tickle Me Elmo and Cabbage Patch Kids destruction of Black Friday sales. And we made fun of them for years. This ups the ante because apparently getting a free waffle iron with every purchase is enough for everyone to just go insane. This opening sequence is just so over the top crazy. You have a mob going in for it's not even Black Friday. They're there on Thursday night, on Thanksgiving night. Now you also have the owner's daughter, Jessica, who is with her friends, Evan, Gabby, Scuba, Yulia, and her boyfriend, Bobby. Evidently they were going to the movies, but they said they wanted to actually go to the shop first because one of them needed a new cell phone, I think. And because Jessica's father owns a store, she gets them in through the side door, and one of the guys, Evan, decides, hey, you know what? While I'm checking out and I'm getting my free waffle iron, it's a good idea to mock the mob outside who are just going nuts like Taylor Swift just ran out of concert tickets. Trying to make this topical.
Next year, Swift into death. When the tickets run out, so the blood flows freely. Swift into death. Rated R.
Bloomhouse, contact us. We got an idea for you. So, and of course, Right Mart only hired 2 freaking security guards. And one of them just says, when the mob starts going crazy, just basically goes, fuck this noise, I'm out. And he runs off.
Smart.
The other one tries to for now. The other one tries to lock up the doors because the mob's getting out of control. And to no avail, because then the mob breaks down the glass doors and he gets trampled. And everything goes so quickly into hell, it's insane. We have one guy gets pushed onto a glass shard, and as he's bleeding out, he's clutching that waffle iron.
Was it a waffle iron or a toaster? Because I think
it was a waffle iron.
Yeah, because it gets ripped out of his hand.
Yeah, so basically, oh nope, you're dead. I get the waffle iron. I mean, look, I love a good fresh waffle as much as the next person, but for the love of God, people, it's a waffle iron.
Like, does Amazon not exist in this world?
See, that's the thing is that honest question. I know you and I have both worked retail and various other jobs, but have you ever gone shopping on Black Friday?
I did once. A roommate and I, he actually worked at Best Buy, and they had a deal on a really nice TV. And basically what we did is we got there early because we lived right behind that Best Buy. And we had this plan of we brought snacks with us, and like whenever one of us had to pee, we tag in and tag out. One sat down, one got up, and we just kind of moved our chairs forward. We got our TV. However, not without going into too long of a story, we were there obviously way ahead of time, so we were one of the first ones who got it. We're on the way out, and as we're on the way out, I turned to him and I was like, Jim, grab the other side of the box, forget the cart, and move. Because the people we'd run into were, they're early. We understand. Yes, there's still some human civility happening, because hello, yes, very tired. Yes, we have some extra coffee you'd like. So, oh, yeah, of course. We saw fucking Dawn of the Dead coming towards us, and it was like, grab the box, get in the car, go, go, go. I've seen this movie, and it don't end well. Didn't we write a version of this movie? Shut up. We can talk about that later. This is not the time to reminisce on our old stupid high school films. Move. But so yeah, I have never actually worked retail in the strictest sense, but I worked several years both in junior high and high school at AMC theaters, and that alone, there's nothing there. Nobody goes to AMC and sits in front of it because Black Friday sale on popcorn or the Yoda.
But Thanksgiving is a high point for going to the movies. Obviously a lot of films get released Thanksgiving weekend early on Thursdays. So even we've heard the kids saying they're going to the movies.
Yeah, and the thing about it from my point of view was that AMC I worked at, right next to it was a Barnes & Noble. Right next to the Barnes & Noble was a Best Buy. Then there was a huge Hallmark store and a Kohl's. And then across from that was a Men's Warehouse. And then directly across the street from us was this big shopping mall. So what we got to see was like, we felt like a fucking relief center in the middle of a war. Like, you'd think...
It sounds like the shopping center in Independence, Missouri.
That's the exact one, yeah.
Yeah, that's where actually the theater I went to go see the movie in today.
So yeah, we got like, you'd think after you got done fighting this Black Friday war, you're like, I want to get home. I want to put this stuff in the closet. I'm going to pour myself a stiff drink. I'm going to sit down on the couch. No, these people would come. And I'm exaggerating a little here, but only just a little, would come in with like bruises, and they looked like they just, been pulled from the trenches. Like, I kept expecting to see like families carrying like those old World War I stretchers. We're gonna go see Trolls, Mom. You stay with us. We got the waffle iron. No. Again, I'm only exaggerating a little bit.
Oh, I know. See, I worked at a Walmart in college, and I was scheduled to work Black Friday. Now, thankfully, the next semester, I was taking off to go study abroad, so I had to put my 2 weeks notice in anyway. So I looked on like, oh, better now than never, and put in my 2 weeks notice right as the schedules came out of it, because I was like, nope, you're getting someone else work Black Friday. I am not shooting myself in this for this job, not in a town like this.
I'll never get abroad.
I do have kind of a funny story, though. It pales in comparison to yours. So I've made a point of trying to avoid shopping on Black Friday. I try to just stay in the house and just, wait until the insanity is over. A couple of years ago, we had a Cocker Spaniel, sadly passed away by now, and he was very old and frequently, had accidents on the carpet. And when, Black Friday a day, he decides to have an accident on the carpet, and we're out of cleaner. So I'm like, okay, God, give me strength. I'll go to Target. And I go to Target, and I'm trying to get into the parking lot. And of course, it's absolute insanity. And I nearly get freaking T-boned by a limousine that's coming out of the parking lot. And after I got done, I was like, oh my God, I just stopped and thought, somebody booked a limo to go Black Friday shopping at a Target.
Like, again, if you're gonna go topical, get the quintessential villain SUV. Chevrolet has several of them, tinted or non-tinted windows. So you can all get out and look like you're a fucking terrorist strike force. And it's fun pictures for later. Why a limo? That just...
Yeah, I have no idea why and yeah, I was just kind of thinking to myself, oh, I'm sorry, I got a comment here. I bought vanilla ice cream from a Quick Trip this Thanksgiving Day.
We're glad that you survived and you are still with us.
Very true. But
Survivor's guilt.
pretty much.
Was the ice cream worth it?
Well, probably better to go to a Quick Trip for ice cream than trying to go to like a Walmart for your ice cream.
Or like going to a Baskin Robbins that's next to a Walmart, which
Pretty much.
is going to be collateral damage.
So yes, going back to the movie, it is absolute insanity. There are multiple deaths, including Mitch, the manager's wife. We have that poor security guard who is trampled to death, and we have Bobby, Jessica's boyfriend, who is not killed, but he is a college baseball player and apparently quite a good one, and he gets a career-ending wound when a million people trample on his arm. Wrist is destroyed. So we flash forward a year. We find out that no arrests were made. All the deaths were ruled accident, which I think was basically the police and the judge saying, "Oh dear God, we are not going through this shit." And as
nobody got time for that crap.
Pretty much. And as we get closer to Thanksgiving, we find out that someone who is dressed up as John Carver. Bonus points. Do you remember who John Carver is?
I recall correctly from American history, he's one of the people who settled Plymouth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep. Braved the Mayflower voyage. He was the first governor of Plymouth colony. And apparently the local diner has been handing out free John Carver masks. So very similar to the point with Scream. It's like they sell this mask in every shop, all over town. Good luck finding it. And we have our first victim, a woman named Lizzie, who we remember seeing in the nightmare that was the Black Friday sale. And she gets a creative death of first she gets slammed into a thing of water, stuck to a freezer, and they try to kill her with an axe. But when she decides, instead of staying safely in her office with the door locked like a sane person would, she tries to make a break for it and ends up getting cut in half by the dumpster. I have never seen a dumpster with a lid sharp enough to cut you in half, but evidently they exist in Plymouth.
It was in the original city charter.
Oh, I'm sure. Although I laugh so hard when they take the killer takes her bottom half, hangs it up at Right Mart next to the sign, all savings half off. Ba-dum-bum.
These are the jokes, folks.
Yes, our killer has a very interesting sense of humor. We also have someone posting on Instagram who is tagging Jessica, Evan, Gabby, Scuba, Yulia, when in a picture of a Thanksgiving place setting, a table. So we've got all the suspicions on who it could be. We have Bobby, who has returned back into town. He's working for his, I think it's his uncle right now in a tow truck business. We have Jessica's new boyfriend, who is, yeah, very much so. Although admittedly, it's kind of hilarious seeing this actor play him, because the most prominent role he's had before this was in the Disney Channel Zombies movies trilogy, where he is just so annoyingly cute, and that's like, oh, you're branching out and playing a douche. Good for you.
I actually remember when I was watching it, person that was like catty cornered down one of me was like, woo, he did. I was like, thank you, sir. And like, I actually went up to the guy, and hopefully you're watching, because I told you what the channel was. I told you I'd give you a shout out. So, hi, Ronald, you get your shout out, because it was, we're just in normal, I'm sorry to interrupt the plot, but this is a funny moment, is they're just in discussion as, we're reintroducing our characters a year later, and it's like, we see the boyfriend, we see Bobby come back, and Ronald, one row down, just goes, woo, he did. And which I missed a good 30 seconds of the dialogue after that, because myself and a few other audience members started laughing, and myself also clapping, because I was like, man, you're not wrong. Douchebag alert. He did. He ain't going to be in Thanksgiving too.
Well, then we have our second death, which is the security guard who said, threw up hands and said, "Fuck this, I quit, I'm leaving." And this actually confused me a little bit. I'm guessing he figured he was next on the list because he is rushing to get out of his apartment, and he said he's going to Rio de Janeiro?
So,
No,
yeah.
the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was south of the equator. And then he gets tipped off by his cat that someone's in his apartment. Fun fact, did you recognize the cat?
Thought I did. I couldn't place it.
Same cat from the Pet Cemetery remake.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. She's just a little more groomed this time and not so...
Yeah, resurrected.
Right.
Although
I never thought he felt like he was next in line. I felt like just from the way the production design was on his house, it was his cowardice had really kind of been weighing on his soul. And like this was already planned, like, I'm going to work all the way through the year, but the minute Thanksgiving hits, I'm out because I just can't. That's what I took from it, but you could be just as right. We'll have to wait till Eli Roth's director commentary.
Well, either way, the poor cat doesn't make enough of a effort to tell him where the killer is because he gets an electric mixer in the stomach and gets beheaded. The killer takes the head, but not before making sure to feed the cat.
He's a conscientious villain, Gotta give him. Hey, I may be a bloodthirsty murderer, but that cat's hungry.
I just love the cat's meowing at him from the food bowl. It's like, hey, do what you want to your master, but freaking feed me. For typical cats, they have no loyalty to you whatsoever as long as they get their food. You own cats. I'm expecting a comment from you on that.
Well, no,
I own dogs.
I'm just saying, like, again, as I'm an animal person across the board, but I do like dogs a lot more. I remember watching a YouTube video where this was called "When Your Dog Stares at Nothing," and the whole idea was this ghost trying to encourage this dog to kill his master, and this dog like goes all Shakespearean. It's like, "I will die on my feet with the last breath exploding from my body in hatred and defense of this good man before I let you hurt him." All right, chill. And then the ghost turns to the cat. "Would you want to?" And the cat cuts him off. "Oh, yeah, no, I'm already all over it."
This cat evidently didn't want his master to die, but he really didn't intend to do jack shit to save his life because all he wanted was his kibble.
Right.
So the killer...
True villain of the film. Deep subtext.
Yeah, fun little fact here, actually. I got this off of IMDb. I am such a nerd. I love going to IMDb's trivia whenever I see a movie. Evidently, this cat was so well trained and so on cue. I mean, we all know cats are assholes, and the idea of directing a cat sounds like, your own little private ring. I believe that is your private ring of hell, Dorian, trying to direct a cat in a movie.
No, back over here. Back over here. We actually, and again, I'm not trying to slow this review down with stories. We actually had a film that we ended up having to stop because our lead, who also was the co-writer and one of the producers, his grandmother got a very, very serious form of cancer that was, clock was ticking, game was over. But it was called Of Things Unseen. And it was basically similar to the story I just told about that YouTube video, but it's this cat trying to get its master to, get the hell out of the house because it sees the monsters coming. But yeah, it got to the point where I was directing the cat with a laser pointer and I felt like the worst human being on the planet. I'm like, I'm just fucking with this poor animal. And I mean, we gave him a shit ton of treats, but
Oh yeah.
At the same time, I'm like, okay, if I've devolved into the director that has to direct one of my actors with a laser pointer, maybe we're not meant to do this movie.
All right. So, yes, we have our two victims. Jessica decides that she's going to try to help the sheriff in figuring out who this is because since Lizzie and the security guard are the victims, they're thinking there's a pretty good chance that the killer was involved in the riot from last year. So Jessica manages to sneak into her dad's office and gets a hold of the security footage, which her stepmother had tried to erase to avoid lawsuits, which is also probably why there were no arrests. Yeah, this movie does a good job making sure that you know who the good characters are and who the assholes are, and making sure you do not give a damn about the assholes who get killed.
Oh, yeah. No, you're almost looking forward to it.
Yeah, very
Like,
much so.
What are you going to do to them?
Yeah, even though Kathleen's probably got one of the most gruesome deaths in the movie, and we will get to that. But yeah, I mean, I love the whole when they're arguing with Thomas, her, and Jessica about after Jessica gets threatened, and the line that she gets upset about is not, using her stepdaughter as bait, and it's not, about the killer threatening her family. It's that her husband wants to close the store.
Right.
And not just close the store down permanently. He's just saying, no, we're going to close it on Thanksgiving. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? It's like, woman, priorities.
Well, and it's also the fact that they have this, and it's very, I don't want to say it's a cliche character. It's a very, very well written character because it's very realistic. But it's like, you already have this wonderful house. You guys have great cars. You're not struggling. It's not like some of those old 70s movies where it's like, the sweet, poor, they used to be so great people make a bad decision to like open something up or keep something open instead of, closing it in this case. And, horror falls down upon them. It's like, you're going to miss one day. You'll be fine.
It's not even one day. It's like 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's like, they're going to close at like 5. Like most stores close on Thanksgiving, if they're open at all.
Oh no, I'm talking about on Thanksgiving. They said they were going to open in the evening after everyone had dinner, so it's like they probably were open at 6.
Yeah, sorry, the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you're not even losing a whole day; you're losing 6 hours. And frankly, I'm just going to go and just bring this up. What is with shops opening up earlier for Black Friday sale? I posted this on my wall last month. My company always does a Black Friday sale on my 2 online shops, but it's Black Friday and it goes through the weekend to Cyber Monday. What is with so many shops now just saying Black Friday savings all month long and opening earlier and earlier for sales? I mean, is Black Friday not a thing now? Is it just November is the month of savings?
I mean, it makes sense. And hey, maybe if Right Mart had done that, the massacre never would have happened. But
yeah, unless you couldn't get that waffle iron until Thanksgiving night.
Right, because that's what tips the balance. This is how the world ends, not with a bang, not with a whimper, but with a waffle iron.
I'm never going to let it go that's the thing that they were going nuts over. I mean, you see the security footage and you see Lizzie, the waitress, literally snarling at the security camera, holding, I think it's like 3 waffle irons.
Yeah.
And you have the one guy dying, clutching it, and this woman comes over and sees him dead, and she doesn't even be like, oh my God, this guy's dead. She goes, my waffle iron.
Yeah. Like, it almost is reminiscent of, like, the Scarecrow's fear toxin in the Arkham City games. Yeah. I was like, did we do a crossover that I'm like, the mask's going to come off and it's going to be like Professor Jonathan Crane, like, before I go to Gotham, I had to test it here first. It's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, that makes sense over a waffle iron then. I mean, now I'm with you.
A friend of mine messaged me asking if this movie had any zombies in it, and I actually I wouldn't spoil it on the wall because I'm better than that, but I really wanted to write, well, if you consider, killing your fellow man over waffle irons to be zombie-like. Side note, if you want a good zombie movie about this kind of thing, go check out Black Friday from 2021. It's got Devon Zawa, Michael Jai White, and frickin' Bruce Campbell in it. Cheesy, fun, over the top. We reviewed it here on the show. Go check it out. Good movie. Yeah, it's Bruce Campbell with a mustache playing the manager of a Walmart knockoff. Of course, it's cheesy and over the top.
Which everyone's like, wait, is this? It's kind of like S-Mart. Is this? No, it's not. Sad.
We almost had it. All right, so yes, Jessica hands over the footage, and now there's more suspects, including her boyfriend Ryan, who we see was talking to the security guard who got trampled. We find out later that this guy is apparently an Adderall addict. I was looking at the cast list, and there's an Addison, and I almost said the wrong freaking thing. He's an Adderall addict, and he was trying to get a new connection. So he was trying to talk to the security guard, who I guess either knows a drug dealer or moonlights as a drug dealer. I don't know. But either way, there's that. And then we have some more deaths involving the two of the people who started the mob rush, apparently from another school. And this is where we get the trampoline scene. And thankfully, the knife does not go into the aha. It goes into a few other parts of the body. And after this, we have Evan and Gabby get abducted. We have no idea where they are. And then Jessica gets threatened. At this point, the police come in and say, hey, look, we got an idea. We're going to have you guys essentially act as bait. We're going to do, because I got this big Thanksgiving parade coming through. And afterwards, we're going to have you guys go to the warehouse where you've been building it. And, you know, the killer's going to think it's just you guys and it's empty. And then he'll come for you. And then the cops will swarm the place. But guess what? The killer is one step ahead. And no one bothered to check, hey, why is there a creepy ass clown in our Thanksgiving parade?
That would have been step one for me. It's like, no.
Okay. You and I work the horror circuit enough in Kansas City. We know that creepy ass clown masks are the regular for that kind of a group.
Mm-hmm.
So if you and I saw this guy at something like that, would have been like, okay, yeah, we know it's him. But this was just a regular Thanksgiving Day parade. And this guy was not just dressed as a regular John Wayne Gacy-esque clown. He is wearing a purposely terrifying clown mask. And it's like, there are no other clowns around. Why did no one say anything? How did no one not notice the creepy ass clown?
Where's the fucking genius kid that they have in situations like, it's like, mommy, why is the demon clown in the parade? Oh shit. Well done, superhero child.
So we get our dude in the turkey mascot costume, gets his head cut off, which was a scene in the original Grindhouse trailer. We get a really gruesome death of the guy driving the truck with the float on it, getting a freaking, I'm just going to call it a Final Destination 2 reminder.
Yeah.
And as our main characters try to get out of there, they are tranked and they are taken away. At this point, we get to watch Kathleen's death, which again is, I'm going to say, probably one of the most gruesome, as she awakens on a serving platter with the killer putting, I think it's olive oil or butter, melted butter, kosher salt, and sprigs of, I couldn't tell if that was thyme or parsley.
Almost, yeah, I want to say parsley, but again, it doesn't change the story, whatever the garnish was.
It doesn't, but the foodie in me feels disappointed if I couldn't tell what kind of herb that was.
And for all of you, he's not just doing this like, this is almost Hannibal Lecter style. He's like eating down her mouth with this brush with like the butter, and he's got one of those like antique pepper crackers.
And he's grinding the pepper on her legs. Yeah.
And it's like, you are getting way too into this, bro.
She tries to get away. She gets a pitchfork in her back. She doesn't make it, and she ends up in the oven, complete with one of those little meat thermometer things that pop out, stuck in her shoulder. Which does pop when she's done, evidently.
Glad to know those are set up to know when human meat is ready to be consumed. I'm glad that's a additional feature on those.
Yeah, I've never understood exactly how those work. I mean, do they just pop up when they sense a certain heat? Is it an air pressure thing? I'm not sure. I just always use regular meat thermometers.
Yeah, same here. I think those are set up to be like a certain temperature so that it's, good to be or okay to be eaten. So,
excuse me. Yeah. What temperature do you think the human body is good for consumption at? Same as I don't think it'd be the same as chicken.
I'm gonna probably at least 200 degrees, because if 165's the like, both of us have worked in food industry, by the way. We are not serial killers.
We're just giant fans also of the Hannibal series, so
yes.
Take what you will from that.
Also reviewed on this channel. Go check it out. It's actually really fun. When you're done here, keep watching this and then go watch it. Double feature. But yeah, no, I'm assuming like I'd have to say like 200, because like I think And they even talked about this in the Hannibal show in the behind the scenes when Janice Poon was talking about who was the culinary consultant was talking about how long they'd have to cook that. I think it's like somewhere around 200, 215, since human flesh is more dense and such than an animal. And then there's obviously more body area.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, this is now this oven she's put in. It kind of looks like a giant pizza oven, like a very, very large pizza oven.
I don't know why anyone would have that in their house. Like that looks like it was built specifically
to cook a human being. Yeah.
Want to cook what?
Evidently, I actually looked this up. The brand name on it is Rendell, aka Jeff Rendell, the screenwriter. So yeah, this thing had to be, and that actually bears the question: do you think that was custom made? Because when I saw it in the trailers, I thought it was just a giant pizza oven, but pizza ovens are not that tall,
right?
Specifically because you're only putting in a pizza.
Yeah, because like they're usually a 2 deep. It's like you got one like oven here, then another here, and those are only for commercial kitchens when you're wanting to cook like 3 or 4 per oven at a time, so you can get them out left and right. But yeah, this thing again, I'm sorry to come back to Hannibal. This looked like something he had in his murder dungeon that, like, after he was caught, went on auction. And our John Carver killer, his identity coming up here soon, or hers perhaps. This was like, yeah, I'll bid on that. But yeah, so and actually considering it was probably at a police auction.
All right, so we have our victims who are drugged and tied up and gagged and sitting around the table thinking, oh, God, we're about to do a reenactment of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, aren't we?
Right. And
they pretty much are, as the killer comes in, complete with a voice modulator thingy. I don't know. I've actually seen a handful of cosplayers using those, specifically when they're doing
Ghostface.
Not Ghostface, stormtroopers.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stormtroopers and Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Not Din Djarin Mandalorian, not Boba Fett Mandalorian. Their own custom Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And the football player who got abducted gets his head bashed in with a meat tenderizer, and the cheerleader who I thought was dead, but evidently not, because when he sticks the wine screw in her neck, the way the blood flows out of it, that had to still be pumping.
Yeah.
It's like when you're dead, your blood does not flow like that.
No.
And he presents his beautifully baked Kathleen on a platter and tries to get David to eat a slice of his wife's leg. Well,
also very Hannibal.
Very Hannibal. Now, at this point, Jessica, thankfully, I actually had gone this far without mentioning the drug dealer / alcohol provider / weapons dealer, who has shown up a couple times in the back, who gave Scuba a gun, which he forgot to turn the fucking safety off. Bravo, sir. But he does give her a ring, which when you turn on, you twist it and a blade pops out. So she manages to use that to cut herself and Scuba free, and they make a run for it. Find out they're actually, this whole time, have been in the John Carver house, a historical building that is used on like tours and stuff for the town. And they try to make a run for it. The killer decides to, get over Scuba and go after Jessica. She makes it out, but she has to go through all of this bramble and woods. And when she finally gets out of it, she sees our beloved sheriff lying on the ground, his head bloody, which is always our first red flag, because one of the golden rules of your horror genre, if you didn't see the attack happen,
it's bullshit.
She runs into the building after she sees what she thinks is the killer, and it looks like it's her poor beloved Bobby. At this point, the killer shows back up, the sheriff shows back up and says, yeah, I know it's Bobby. He, clubbed me when I tried to get the jump on him, and they start the manhunt for him. And Jessica thinks everything's going to be okay until she looks down and notices that her sheriff has bramble and weed stuck to his legs, the same as she did from running in the woods. Gee, I wonder how he got that. No point in guessing. He's the killer.
Right.
And as he tries to attack Jessica, and it turns out this whole thing was started because Mitch's the manager's wife, Mitch's wife, he was having an affair with her, and she was pregnant with his child. He says she was planning on leaving Mitch, and they were going to start a family together. But then, yeah, she died over those damn waffle irons.
Yeah.
No, I'm never letting it go.
Yeah. Till death.
Till death. Damn those waffle irons. Every time I order a freaking waffle from Iron House now, I'm going to be thinking about those damn waffle irons. Every time I go to a con and they've got a waffle iron in the food buffet, I'm going to be thinking about this movie. Eli Roth, you did not make a movie that is synonymous with Thanksgiving. You made a movie that is synonymous with waffles.
Waffle hate. What, did a waffle kill your family? Oh, damn. Too soon, bro. Too soon. Thanksgiving too.
Imagine if it was a panini sandwich maker. Those I could actually understand the run on a little bit more, but not the waffle makers.
Right. When you think in Plymouth, like everyone would have a waffle maker.
Yeah. Is the demand for waffles really even that? You know what? I would expect what you remember those pancake makers? They were like two pans that were stuck together and you could close them and then flip them. My grandmother had ones. Those, I would think pancakes would be more of the desire to get than waffles. I mean, wouldn't more people want pancakes than waffles in Plymouth?
I would think, but again, actually, my personal waffle iron is one of those same thing. It just has obviously the crosshatch in it. You flip it, and then it's all perfect. And I also have one that plugs in. But again, I'm not gonna kill someone over a freaking waffle iron.
What if it's a Mickey Mouse waffle iron?
Don't care.
Mickey Mouse waffle irons are iconic.
And that's great. And I'm happy for it, but it does not need someone's life.
I mentioned when I was talking about the movie Wish that the references in that movie were like getting bludgeoned over the head with a Mickey Mouse waffle iron.
And now here we are.
Watching people get bludgeoned over the head for waffle irons.
Here you go, audience. In the comments below, tell us what you would kill someone over getting. It's hopefully anyone who says waffle iron, get out. But
no, see, I want to turn this into a variation on the Klondike Bar Challenge. Like, what would you do for a waffle maker? Would you kill a guy?
Oh yeah, why not? Waffles are dope, man.
And then you go to the cat again. It's like, what would you do for it? No, I'm already all over this.
Alexis, keep talking about the plot. I'm having a small tech issue here. I will be right back. The video is just going to go dark and it's going to mute. So, but I'm still coming right back.
All right. So, yes. The sheriff, whose name, by the way, is Eric Newland, I probably should have actually been rattling off the cast here from Wikipedia, is the killer. He was having an affair with Mitch's wife. She was pregnant. She was going to leave. This was his motivation to become John Carver. Although I kind of like that evidently in the press release, they don't call him John Carver. They call him the Carver. And I like that. I like that name for a new horror icon. That fits in really well, I think, with the names of our other serial killers. And he goes on his monologue about everything he's done and how he's proud of what he's done. And guess what? You sly dog, you got me monologuing. And guess what? I was live streaming it. She grabbed Bobby's phone when no one was looking and started live streaming it. And I love that you can see the reaction emojis while he's doing that. And there's a bunch of what, it's like, there's a combination of the wow shocked face and the heart icon. And the laughs. There's a lot of laughing emojis. I mean, how many people are watching this going, ha ha, you just screwed yourself.
Moron. Although actually that part did give me flashbacks to it didn't do very well, but it was a It's a thriller from early 2000s called Untraceable. Had Diane Lane. It's about this
I
killer.
remember that. Yeah, Colin Hank. Yeah.
Diane Lane was this FBI agent who this killer keeps live streaming his murders. And at the end, she's holding up the badge to the camera, and the camera on the computer that he's live streaming from. But the actual cinema camera pans over to the comments, like, "Hey, where can I see the full video on this? Hey, this is hilarious." And it's like, never much social commentary, but during that moment with the comments, I was like, wow. Yes, we're shitty.
Yeah, Eli Roth does not shy away from that. I mean, when he kills Evan with the meat tenderizer, he's live streaming the whole thing. He openly admits that because Evan live streamed the Black Friday massacre, as I'm going to call it. And he says, "You inspired me to live stream as well." And again, we see the phone after he smashes the dude's brain in. There's a bunch of heart emojis all over the place. Eli Roth is not shying away from the fact that if you're watching this live stream, you are probably a douchebag.
Or a burgeoning serial killer, which will bring us Leslie Vernon 2, Rise of the Mask 2.
Will you stop giving Hollywood sequel ideas?
Hey, it slows them down so I can keep writing my stuff. It's a diabolical scheme, actually.
Yeah, you're evil. Okay, so Jessica tries to get away, and thankfully Bobby is still there. It turns out that he got semi-drugged and dressed up by Newland, and he was hoping that would be enough to get the cops to, go after him, probably shoot him, before they had a chance to question him or anything.
They chalk up to suicide by cop, and...
Or he was too dangerous to be kept alive, or he didn't stop running, so we fired.
Oh yes, because we all know the well vaunted Mace Windu law. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. Hang on.
Yeah, I know exactly what I was quoting when I said that, and I stand by it.
Oh no, that's fair. I was just backing you up.
Yeah, better to say that you're quoting that than quoting the scene where they killed Count Dooku.
Right. Although I'm sorry, really quickly, I really wish when Mace Windu had said that to Palpatine had just been like, "You weren't even there when I said that. What the fuck? Are we both that screwed up? I mean, I'm evil. I mean, I get it. What's your excuse?" This has been a quick Star Wars detour. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
I've quickly realized that if we don't have Mark, Robert, or Jason here to keep us grounded, you and I really tend to branch off and start talking random shit.
Yeah, but it's entertaining.
That it is. Hopefully it's entertaining. We've got a handful of viewers here. I hope that they're not put off by this.
No. And everybody who was expecting, because we talked about Jason being here, he was detained by work, if I read the message correctly, and there's a second store that they're opening, and it's just a whole, obviously, mess of reality. So that is why he's not joining us, but we send him all the love. And yes, if he were here, he'd probably be like, "Can we not talk about focus one movie at a time? Tell the kid in the background to shut up."
Like I said, it's just an average day with you and me talking because we don't shut up and we just start branching off into a million different subjects.
Hey, keep the audience on their toes.
Very true. What are you drinking, by the way?
I actually did pour myself a glass of wine because it's been a very long day. It's Paisano wine.
Almost out, but peach iced tea Crystal Light.
Nice.
Love that stuff. Okay, so Jessica and Bobby try to make a run for it. They find Bobby's uncle's tow truck, but what do you call it? The cable, the hook and the cable that comes out of the tow truck.
The tow cable.
The tow cable, thank you. It comes loose, and Newland's able to grab it and hook it onto a support beam, so they can't quite get out. But Jessica, thinking on her toes before they got in, has started inflating a giant turkey balloon with, I don't know what kind of gas, but it's flammable. And as Newland thinks he's got them cornered, she grabs the blunderbuss that's filled with gunpowder. And even though she wasn't able to get any shotgun shells, she uses her mother's bracelet that she gave to her and puts it in there. It's like, "Mom, I love you, but I need you to save my life." And says, "Hey, you were right. There are no leftovers." Pow! turkey balloon goes explode. We do not see what happened, but evidently everything in there got incinerated. So the cops who are looking over the place say there's no way he could have survived that. And can we get a running tally of how many times that line has been uttered in horror movies?
Let's see, at least got to be at least in the double, if not triple digits.
Absolutely.
I'd say higher double digits, at least 70 or 80.
Yeah, can't find the body. They assume it's been burned to ash because no one could survive that. Translation, we want to leave this open for some sequel bait.
It's actually funny. There is a, and this actually does attach. There is a very famous line from a Sherlock Holmes book called The Norwood Builder, in which, long story short, they think that this young investor guy has burnt this rich retired architect alive, and all the cops can find are bone and cinder in what's left of it. And Holmes says, well, that seems to be very convenient. Well, not very convenient to the person who was burned alive. Yes, but Lestrade, let us think. Only bone and cinder? And the whole point being, Holmes is like, there'd be cloth. There'd be, this is the late 1800s, short of an explosion that wipes out an entire city block. And even then, you're going to find something. So, yeah, and it is sadly, is a very overdone horror trope. I got some severe, when the firefighter walks out who's holding the axe.
With the gas mask on, and you can't see his face.
That was so, I was like, dude, if he takes it off and looks straight into the camera, we are 2009's My Bloody Valentine all over again. Because Jensen Ackles does the same thing at the end of that one. Which, again, I have no problem with the homage to it, but it was still like, yep, kind of saw that coming. But it's okay.
You think that was an homage?
Quite possibly. However, not necessarily, since Roth is more a fan of more of the original stuff, the 70s, and he talks about in his interviews about this movie how much My Bloody Valentine inspired it, Halloween, so on and so forth. So it could have been an homage. It could have been one of those. He saw the movie, it got stuck in his head, and years later, without even really realizing he was, homaging or repeating something, he was like, oh yeah, they did do that. Crap. Because that can just as easily happen,
Well, so we have our wrap up. Surprisingly, yeah, the dude you gonna die, he doesn't die. He survives. He's a douchebag, but apparently he's a good boyfriend, I guess. So, yeah, Jessica survives. Gabby survives. Scuba survives. Bobby survives. Yeah, Ryan was never in danger. He never even got attacked.
Mm-mm.
It's like, for being the douche in the movie, you would think that someone would have at least swung an axe at him at some point.
Well, I would have, considering some of the dark comedy in this, I would have been totally fine if Sheriff Newell had been like, despite all the shit that you did in the Black Friday Massacre, I want to make very clear, I'm not killing you because of that. I'm killing you because, God, you irritate me. And just, this adds another layer to that character of just, he's the sheriff of the town. It's probably not the first time he's had a run-in with this kid. And it's just like, again, because that kind of comedy for a killer really works, where it's not, it is some diabolical scheme. It's literally like, you just really irritate me. And we need more of that from our killers, because not that we want to laugh and go, yay, let's root them on. But at the same time, that comedy gives the audience even a twisted sense of, okay, there's a laugh. I got to breathe for a second. Okay, continue with your carnage. As you were.
I think most of the laughs just came from the over-the-topness of this movie. Again, you have a woman baking to death in an oven with the freaking meat thermometer going pop when she's done, and they cut right when it pops out. It's just like, and next scene.
Right.
Let it never be said, Eli Roth doesn't have a good sense of comedic timing.
No. Even if it's dark and twisted, which again, for this kind of movie is perfect,
So I guess the next question be, since we talked about the plot synopsis, what was your favorite kill?
Well, see, the problem with that is my favorite kill wasn't actually a kill itself. Meaning that this action did not kill the character. It was the corn on the cob holders in the ears.
We forgot to talk about Ulia's death. which
Yeah.
admittedly also leads to one of the weirder moments I thought in the movie. So Ulia, who, by the way, we're pronouncing her name like that for a reason. She is, I don't know if she is a German immigrant or she's just the daughter of German immigrants, because her father is German and has a very thick accent. So yeah, her name is pronounced Ulia. And we have the scene with the killer going in after her, killing the cop that's guarding them, killing her father, sticking corn cobs in her ear, and then when Scuba and Jessica tried to go and save her, she gets thrown onto a circular saw because the house is currently under reconstruction, because of course it is. And you have this very weird moment where Scuba, Ulia's boyfriend, grabs her body and just says, "Jessica, what do I do? What do I do?" Now, I could take that he's probably in shock and just sort of reeling about what has just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But he is holding his girlfriend's literal guts coming out of her. She has quite literally been eviscerated on the circular saw. And he's just very blasé going, "Jess, what do I do? What do I do?" It's like, can we have
that scene honestly needed a little more emotion, like him trying to like push them back in. It's like, no, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And like, Jessica, what do I do? Should have been a lot more. Jessica, what
do I do? What do I do?
Like, then we have to smack. We'll cry later. Move now. I'm not trying to be an ass, but I have no plans to die today. But yeah, no, and it's that was the reason that was like my favorite quote unquote kill, was just it was so like like everything else is like the meat tenderizer, hammer to the head. We've seen that. And again, we've seen people get stabbed in the ear. Nightmare on Elm Street, I think 6 did it, where he stuck the pencil in the really long Q-tip in the kid's ear and it popped out the other side.
The pencil in the ear was Sleepwalkers.
Thank you.
Cob kebab.
Yeah, cob kebab. Yeah, it's like womp.
Womp womp.
But yeah, this isn't even like a corn on the cob itself. These are those little things that you stick into the corn.
Corn holders, yeah.
Yeah, corn holders. Sorry, earlier you said she gets a corn on the cob in the ear. So
well, they're corn holders that are made to look like little corns on the cob.
Yeah, they actually have like a
corns on the cob, corn on the cobs. I don't know where you put the S on that.
Right. They even have little smiley faces on them because he stabs her and then drops them to the floor. And again, here's Eli Roth's twisted sense of humor. We have an insert shot of it lying on the floor, little blood spattered with this big smile face on it. Like, it's like, okay. God bless you, Eli Roth, you crazy son of a bitch.
I do like how they deafen out the screaming, the sound with that ringing in the ears, because obviously now that level of deep, she could still hear from. I don't think she would have been left permanently deaf, but still having those in there, she's going to be hearing, ringing in her. She's going to have tinnitus for a long time. So again, nice little job of us put. Sorry.
She's like, well, she's not going to have tinnitus for that long, but she dies very quickly after it. But
yeah, exactly. Either way, nice little bit of putting us in the victim's viewpoint. So I always like when a killer or when a director can do something like that.
Yeah, especially
when a killer puts us like that.
With like, when they have like a gunshot that's way too close to the ear and everything, just you get that white noise. Where you can still hear the reports, but like you're so disoriented because your brain's going, what in 3 shades of literal fuck just happened? But yeah, no, that would be my favorite kill. Yours?
Admittedly, it was Lizzie, the waitress in the beginning. Now, we saw her in the trailers getting dunked in the water and stuck onto the freezer, but we don't see, but in the trailers, you think she dies there. No, she manages to literally peel her skin off and get away, and she's hiding in the office, and I'm laughing hysterically because she can't get the facial recognition to act on her phone because it's too torn up, and she's got blood on her finger, so she can't activate the thumbprint. But again, she doesn't stay. It's like, no, sweetie, you stay, okay? You have your phone with you. And for all intents and purposes, the phone works, all right? You just need to get the blood off of it, and then you can, use your clean hands, your clean fingers, excuse me, to call 911. Lock the door, stay put.
Well, and I understand this is from a storyline point of view that we needed that for the tension, and we need people to be somewhat stupid, in shock and in pain, because that is also realistic as well as is cinematic. But however, with how technology is today, and I'm not, because I have my phone sitting right next to me, I'm not going to say this out loud, but there is a voice activated app that you could say a name and then say call 911.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure the phone didn't actually. Okay, good.
Siri, don't listen. Oh shit, my Siri activated.
See, that's why I didn't say it.
Turning it off.
But yeah, like that would have been a smarter way to do it. But again, that's one of the joys of these slasher films like this, is that I believe the writers and directors do certain things like that, not only, like I said, because it's a realistic reaction in shock and in pain, but also so the audience becomes engaged, being like, bitch, use your voice activation. Which again obviously draws the audience more into the film and continues on. Sorry, go ahead.
But no, it's just how over the top the actual death is. And, well, holy shit.
Jason!
We didn't think you were going to make it, man. Hi!
Hey, what's up? I don't know how good my sound quality is, but yeah, I'm actually just left work and I'm actually driving back to my hotel. So,
okay, so
I know I can't be seen very well, but
it's actually got a very spooky,
totally
killer vibe going on. So it's really it's fitting with the whole mood.
Okay, so we were just talking about our favorite kills from the movie. So what was your favorite kill from this?
That's interesting. I have to say the driver of the parade float,
the Final Destination 2 guy, yeah,
that gets the mast through the head. That was one of my favorites. I also like the whole I want to say the bitchy stepmother that is that gets roasted like the turkey and displayed like Charlie Brown's favorite turkey, and on the dinner table. That was an interesting visual.
You keep giving me crap about giving Hollywood more ideas. The people who just made Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey just went, oh, Charlie Brown horror Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mr. Teakley.
You know they're making a sequel to that.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, with Tigger.
Sorry, Jason.
That's racist. I don't know. I have to say that was probably the one that the two top notch ones that I would go with. I know I'm late to the party and I don't get to say much, but I just wanted to pop in. Apologize for being late to the party. I've been at work since I've been up since 5. Been at work since 5:45, and just now left the second store that I done, driving back to my hotel.
No problem, man. I am a firm when it's my show, I'm a firm believer, better late than never. Okay, you can hop on at any time and I will put you on my show.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, funny. We were actually joking how we needed you because when Dorian and I are just talking to each other, we tend to start going off into giant tangents about everything else. We need someone to keep us grounded.
Well,
so
I am not the person for that. I will take a show off the rails quite quickly because me and Mark diverged from the Lake Placid series into our Mount Rushmore black comedians last night.
See,
yeah, try to figure out how that happened.
We started an argument.
In that case, ignorance is bliss.
We started a debate about turning a what would you do for a Klondike bar into what would you do for a waffle iron.
Well, obviously, you would scalp a pregnant lady offer on a Black Friday, and
wasn't that the one
yeah.
with the kill that was with the the cart.
She
Yeah,
fell
she
down.
got-
And the car, yeah, she fell down, and the two carts basically hit her in the head, and I'm assuming cracked her skull. And these two women are too busy fighting to realize they're running over this woman, and her hair gets caught on the wheel because it's probably that crappy cart with the gimmicky wheel that never works. And yeah, pulls part of her scalp off.
But just want to say that this was a, just quick show notes, which I'm pretty sure that you both, being the aficionados you are, probably already hit on. So I'm probably just rehashing things that you guys already covered. This was for me was a throwback to, I Know What You Did Last Summer vibe. It gave me that feeling. The only downside of the movie I had was, the reveal of the killer. I really didn't like that they went the route they did. I thought it was a cop-out because you kind of forgot.
You thought the cop was a cop-out?
Yeah, go figure. I kind of wanted it to be the baseball player. I kind of wanted him to be the guy, not the red herring. Just kind of like that his career was taken away from him, so he was seeking revenge. I think that would have been a better. I know you'll hear my GPS.
GPS,
Hey, we were joking about how both one of us actually activated Siri earlier when we were talking about the woman who was trying to get the blood off of her phone to get the facial recognition software to work.
Oh yeah, like this is why you have a shirt. You can wipe it off or you have the passcode that you can actually type in. Don't even get me started. Some of the tropes that they used. But yeah, I mean, the whole John Carver thing. It was a really good. It gave me like Black Christmas, the remake of Black Christmas. And I want to pitch this to you while I have both of you on here. Since I know Robert wouldn't be doing it, but I know you two are just quirky enough to do it. I think we need to do a show. Get all of us to do a show and just go through and do our holidays of horror.
Yes.
And take the horror movies for each holiday, because there's some pretty good ones out there, like My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
Leprechaun for
Christmas.
Leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day.
You got Leprechaun, which me and Mark covered the first Leprechaun. You've got Black Christmas out there. You got I Know What You Did Last Summer for 4th of July. You can go through and do everything. You've got, like Arbor Day would be kind of hard to cover, but you got, of course, Halloween for Halloween. But we could actually I think we could pretty much do a pretty good anthology of like all the major holidays with horror movies. I think that would be a pretty good anthology, like series that we could put together.
I absolutely agree. I think that would be a fun. Just going through and even finding some of the more obscure ones that are for holidays that maybe we didn't know about. Like maybe there is a President's Day horror movie out there. But
I was going to say, wouldn't the Arbor Day horror movie be The Happening?
Don't even get me started on that.
Sorry, Alexis,
that makes you want to kill yourself.
Alexis, say that one more time. I didn't catch it.
I said, wouldn't an Arbor Day horror movie be The Happening?
What? No.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thomas.
For the record, I am up for this, but we would have to schedule it after the first of the year. December is like completely booked.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to do it. Like, I mean, I would want to do it like just do like that month, do like a show that month for that holiday. Just
okay.
Not like shoehorn all of them together. Like,
no,
just or do it like, just group like, like how we do the triple feature, just like do 3 holidays at a time and do it as a triple feature. Like us 3 just hop on, do a triple feature, cover 3 holidays like January, February, March. You got New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, and what's in March?
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day, yeah. Then April, you got Easter. The only one we don't have is is there a holiday in June?
Father's Day.
Father's Day. And then there's
Stepdad.
Yeah.
Stepfather, yeah.
Stepfather is a great Father's Day one. That is, if
Mother's
you guys
Day
have
has
not seen
Mother's
it.
Day. And
Yeah.
again, this for the audience watching, whether you're watching now while we're live or later. Another thing we could do is that we could get together, record it, and then we can edit it down to like a very short thing for each holiday. You know, have some clips in there from the actual movie. So if you like Mr. Teasley's idea, tell us in the comments so we know.
Absolutely. No, I think
I think it would just be something fun.
Yeah. Again, we should talk to Robert too. See if we can get all four of us on for that. I know Robert, unfortunately, it's not a case of he didn't want to be on tonight. It's that he is not available on Wednesdays, and this was literally the only day that we could get in until it was just a case of, why are we talking about Thanksgiving? Christmas was last week. So, Mr. Winfrey, we miss you. We're sorry you couldn't join us. So we'll get you back. If we get this off the ground, we will get you in on that.
I was looking forward to facing you in combat mortal over this film, but I'll get you next time. Next time.
Yeah, but I mean, I think because there's some really obscure holiday movies out there, and I will say this: the anthology thing that I sent you, Alexis, is really good. If you have not, the Pilgrim episode is really interesting. It is batshit insane, actually. It is something to. It's this anthology thing that I came across. What it is
he's been taken over by Skynet.
Evidently. Jason, we think we may have lost you. I'll keep the window open if he comes back. I'll send him a quick little message here. All right. Mr. Price, while we got a moment, though, why don't you go ahead and Jason, did we get you back?
Yeah. I dropped out there for a second.
Sorry.
What it is, it's anthology on Amazon, and it's what brought it up is, and it gave me the idea. It's rich, highty-tidy family hires these period actors to reenact the first Thanksgiving. Well, they take it to extreme and really do the first Thanksgiving and beat the hell out of them, make sure that put them in stocks and everything, and ends up going totally not how they wanted. They take it back to colonial times, and it is insane, and it is something really, especially Dorian, it's right up your alley. I actually thought of you watching it because it's just quirky enough, and it's in the vein. It's in the vein of something that would catch your eye and just be like, interesting. Because it takes the period piece and turns the horror up to 11. It's on Amazon. I'll shoot the trailer over to you when I get to my hotel and let you check it out.
Absolutely, that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Love to watch that.
Oh, it's
all right.
It is.
Well, Jason, other than the ending, I was personally okay with the reveal about the sheriff being the killer. My biggest complaint was that scene at the end where she has the nightmare where he comes out of the closet all flamey. Yeah. Again, that was extremely, I know what you did last summer. And I don't know. I was just expecting something else from Eli Roth, because that cliche feels like it's been done so many times.
And the whole exploding turkey.
Oh, I love the exploding turkey. I had no problem with the exploding turkey.
Again, that Eli Roth sense of humor, you have to really have seen the Cabin Fever movies to get why he does that. Because again, obviously Eli Roth's most famous thing that most people know him for, other than this now, but before this would have been Hostel, which is very, very dark, very, very very pointed, and very, very almost razor sharp. Cabin Fever has that more what in the hell is happening here, almost an Evil Dead sense of comedy, which I think he was hearkening back to in this. Again, I don't have Eli Roth on speed dial yet, so I can't actually tell you, but that's my thought process.
Yeah, like
He
I said,
has
I was
a
okay with it.
very-
I just sorry, go ahead.
I said he has a very weird film style. It's a comedic horror to an uncomfortable level. And I will say this: I got a few good jump scares out of this. But
yeah.
Eli Roth is one of those directors that the humor in his horror is unsettling, and it is very in your face. The comedic aspect makes you uncomfortable. You laugh, but it's an uncomfortable laugh. It's like, should I really be laughing at this, or should I be just? I'm really uncomfortable laughing at this.
Well, he takes what
there's
Eli Roth takes what Marvel does in a way that and a lot of people complained about Marvel with this, where they'll be in the middle of a battle and we're very heated, we're very pitched, it's very intense, and they'll make a joke. Where in that, sometimes that doesn't work. Eli Roth's comedy, in the sense of the more uncomfortable stuff, is, again, with slasher films, and I think Vincent Price said it best, is that it allows us, horror films and slasher films especially, allow us to really dig deep into the darker sides of our humanity without tipping that level into actually going out and hurting someone, actually, becoming kind of a monster that these films highlight so well. It is very much dark comedy. Oh no, did we lose Jason completely?
If he buzzes back, if he gets back on, I'll buzz him back in.
Wasn't trying to interrupt you, Jason, but your audio, and I'm sure you'll see this when you listen back to this, sounded like, again, you were being taken over by Skynet. But yeah, I think that's the comedy style he goes for. And I know there's a lot of people, one of my friends included, is not a Eli Roth fan at all. They think he's very twisted. And I understand their point of view. It just, again, with horror, as long as we're not being maliciously cruel in a comedic way, I think it still works. Because, again, the idea of slasher films is not to have some, deep, psychological meaning that we will pull apart for years. It's, this thing's evil, it's trying to kill us, we have to destroy it, and most importantly, we need to survive it. And that's where the audience comes in, is that we want to go, if the characters are written correctly, we want to go along with them on the journey, and we want to survive with them, and we want to celebrate, and lick our wounds after we've beaten the bad guy.
Yeah, now, like I said, I didn't have a problem with the ending. Again, my only issue was that last minute scare with the nightmare. I'm just gonna say it. That to me is the trope that the director adds in when they literally can't think of anything else. Eli Roth, I love you, man. You're an awesome director, but that really felt like you had no other idea. Like you just like I don't know. Screw it.
I think, maybe there were scenes, even just a few seconds that were cut. There's a line earlier in the movie right before they do the whole, I don't want to spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder, and they're going to put him up as bait. That if that had been leaned into, could have been a lot more terrifying at the end, where she has the nightmare of him on fire. She wakes up and she goes to her dresser, and she's leaning against it, trying to catch her breath, and she hears something behind her, and maybe the last shot is literally just her doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And now, even despite the fact that we've defeated the bad guy, we're still looking over our shoulder, probably for the rest of our lives, because again, we didn't find it. I don't have a problem with that trope as long as it's done well. I know I've used food as a horror example, or this film example, several times. Macaroni and cheese is fine. And I mean, a lot of people like it that aren't lactose intolerant, obviously, or have a gluten allergy. But the idea is that macaroni and cheese is fine, but you can always make it more interesting with just a few additions, and it's not going to take that long. So there's a very good chance that there were scenes. Hell, I know Eli Roth isn't watching this, but if he is, he's probably going, "Yeah, I did have to cut those last couple seconds because it would have gone over." You know,
You think we're going to get a director's cut out of this?
I wouldn't say anytime soon, but I could be wrong. With how twisted his original trailer was, I could see Roth going, "All right, this is what I had to do to get it into theaters. For those of you who love me, you know, here's the full fucked up director's cut that, you know, I would have loved to do, but obviously, you know, MPAA wouldn't let me do." And as much as Roth is given crap, let us remember this. He is an avid student of horror. If you haven't seen it, he did a fantastic, I think it was 3 or 5 part series. I've seen it cut into different thing called The History of Horror with Eli Roth, and he went through a lot of people. He loves this his genre, which is why I'm a huge fan of him, because you know, I see that same love that I have for it and the enjoyment of it in him, and it's really fun to watch him geek out and talk about, you know, like people talk about comic books, and they're the people who like know everything that Green Lantern did from the first issue when it was this Green Lantern to current. And, you know, someone like that with horror is just fun to watch. So Eli Roth has a lot of fun with his stuff, but he's not a perfect director, and no director is.
Mm-hmm. He does have a really fun style. I mean, the fact is that this movie, it's not setting out to be something it's not. This is not a horror movie that is trying to masquerade itself as something more deep. It's not trying to lecture us about anything, aside from do not kill thy neighbor over a goddamn waffle iron. Yeah, this is a
11th commandment.
This was on the stone slab that Mel Brooks dropped
in History of the World Part 1.
Number 1.
I have to agree. I actually have a note here just very quickly because I want to. Don't want to go on another thing. Is this movie had the chance and a possibility to become very pretentious and/or political? When I saw the first thing with what the mask looked like, and I'll talk about that here in a sec or a few, is I thought, oh man, are they going to go like full Native American? How, you know, the land was stolen, and how, you know, the beauty of the, you know, the paintings we see of the first Thanksgiving hide a lot of shit, you know. The only true adaptation of what really happened or should have happened on the first Thanksgiving comes to us from Addams Family Values.
Thank you, Christina Ricci.
We love you.
We do.
You're watching this too. You're sitting right next to Eli Roth, you know, having drinks, watching this, because obviously, of course you are. Why wouldn't you be?
I was worried that this was going to go into the holidays have become too commercial. I mean, why do we even have Black Friday sales? It is none of that. It is a revenge slasher movie because of a mob riot. This movie could have very easily had that mob riot and these deaths occur in any other situation. It just happened to happen around Thanksgiving. Yeah. Eli Roth stays in that idea. This is not a pretentious way. Again, it's not trying to be something it's not. It is a good old-fashioned, gory as hell slasher flick with tons of brains and guts and everything just thrown all over the place. And you know what? We love it. If that's your thing, if you love good classic slasher films, if you love classic Halloween, Bloody Valentine, the Black Christmas, all those, if you like that, you're gonna love this movie. I do think it has a shot at becoming a new holiday staple. Mostly just because, with the exception of planes, trains, and automobiles, we really don't have a Thanksgiving staple.
What's that weird turkey one?
I know what you're thinking, but I can't think of the name for the life of me.
I tried to block it from like my entire existence, and like there's like one part.
Oh, now you want me to bring it back to your existence? Gee, thanks, Dorian.
Hey, we both be in pain together. I think it's like Thanksgiving or something. Well, there is
That's it. Thanks. Yeah.
There is an Amityville Thanksgiving movie as well.
I'm ranking this up there with the Krampus horror movie. This is one of those fun films that is not for everyone around the holiday. But if you love a good scary movie, this has it. This has some really good scares.
And yeah, and the gore is not. Yeah, Eli Roth is one of the the godfathers in a way of torture porn, obviously with the Hostel series. But the kills in this are inventive, and it's not gore for gore's sake. So again, if you're a little squeamish, yeah, it's gonna mess with you. Just heads up. The story and the fun slasher element to it, is still there. So it's not just slowly we see the head come off. They cut away a lot.
No, the heads get cut off actually pretty damn fast.
They really do. So I mean that's what's great about it is, again, it's not what has become a lot of gory horror films where it's just the story is absolute crap. It makes no sense. But hey, we spent a shit ton of money on our makeup departments, and they're all buying their kids Ferraris for Christmas.
Wasn't that the excuse of the Child's Play remake?
We don't speak of that.
No, we don't.
Say, hey, Mark Hamill, good job, buddy. You tried.
We love you, Mark Hamill.
You brought up Krampus, and I want to jump on that really, really quickly. One of the great things about the Krampus movie, and I'm not going on a tangent about that, but it does connect to this, the Krampus has a credit opening that is very similar to the Black Friday Massacre, as you called it.
Yeah, except that it's done in slow-mo to classical music, which admittedly is freaking hilarious.
It really is, because it's like, if you've ever been in a store and seen shit like that, you're like, so that's what it looks like when I'm not running by at 60 miles an hour trying to get the fuck out of the way. And again, what the same thing that Krampus did is Krampus had it could have very easily leaned really hard into that and been like, consumerism is bad. But it uses it to very much frame the situation. And then in Krampus, much like with this movie, we step away and we're in another story. In Krampus, we're with this we're trying, and we have some problems family, that their extended family is shitty, and oh dear God, if anyone deserves to die, situation. And much like with this, it goes back, and Alexis said it brilliantly. If you look at the best slasher films, they are about two things. And sometimes those two things overlap and intersect, but they are about either revenge, madness, or both. And this one nails everything without feeling like it's done by a rule book. It nails everything in a fell swoop.
I should also point out that while, again, this could have really gone into an anti-consumerism rant, because we do have an ongoing subplot with Mitch, the manager, who is obviously quit, leading protests against the store for opening on Thanksgiving. And again, this could have turned into a very Black Friday kills families thing. The fact is that lots of shops do open late on Thanksgiving. And what happened with this store in the movie, the fault of it was not just the holiday. They didn't hire enough security guards. They had a couple of kids get in who were encouraging the riot. This could have easily been, that whole mob thing could have easily been controlled had a few more steps been taken.
Well, we also left. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was like, so it's very easy to just point the finger and say, no, consumers are wrong. It's like, no, consumerism does tend to be a problem, but that is not but the mob mentality was what led to the deaths, not the waffle iron.
Yeah. And it's, one thing we left out is that there is a very, very small character who's never seen again in the beginning of the mob, who is from a rival school, who got a black eye from one of the other characters, and he starts in.
Oh, we see him again. He's the one who gets his neck broken, and his girlfriend gets the trampoline death.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I had a brief blank moment there. But it's a dumb bully who incites the mob. But I remember watching that, and take two. After watching it, I was out of the theater and I went, this is kind of the Raiders of the Lost Ark joke. This riot still would have happened even if douchebag bully with the black eye hadn't been there. And I'm sorry, I know there's a famous meme that's like, the older I get, I identify more with the killers than I do the teens. I'm the other way around. I'm like, this is not their fault. Yeah, it's kind of shitty, but it's like, that really? That's what inside you, like, Again, those kids wouldn't have even had to be in there. That you could have, like, I'm not going to do this, but I could supercut this movie, cut the kids out of being in there and live streaming. That mob would have still busted through because, again, we go back to the start of this review about, are there zombies? Well, yeah, there are. And
mob mentality is a real thing, and it's truly terrifying.
What's the Mr. Radlich's Halloween Kills joke? Rah, rah, we're an angry mob.
Okay, that is technically from a... God help me for bringing this up. That's from a My Little Pony movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they just used it for the Halloween
Kills
review. So again,
yeah, Mark and I did a triple feature on Muppets Haunted Mansion, Straight Outta Nowhere, the Scooby-Doo Courage the Cowardly Dog crossover, and My Little Pony, a Friendship is Magic second generation, which features a song sung by Ken Jeong as a little red earth pony leading an angry mob.
So yeah, the point being that they would have broken down those doors for those fucking waffle irons with or without the kids, which in my opinion, well, since Jason, I hope you're still watching or at least trying to tune back in, is he had an issue with the villain. My issue with the villain is I knew who it was pretty much from the start. And I'm not bragging here, I'm not going because of my great knowledge of horror. It's not that. It couldn't be Bobby, because why would Bobby want to kill his friends for something that he was in on? Now, if they had made Bobby's character like he was a stock boy and he's the poor kid who's dating the rich girl, that's very cute, very cliched, but he didn't want to be a part of this, and then there was the mob and his arm got broke, now you got a chance. But he's in on it too. The cops, even from the trailer, the shot of Dempsey with his hand, the gun firing in the air, and just the pain etched on his face, really good acting actually, is like, you're the bad guy. Because there's no reason for Bobby to want to hurt his friends. Everyone else, okay, yeah, we can still see that, but getting them involved, that takes him off the killer roster unless we have some reason for his mental illness. That being said, Dempsey's villain could have been better, in my opinion, if he had done this not only out of anger and revenge for losing, his married baby mama and their unborn child, but also of, if you wanted to do a little social commentary, you could have had part of his monologue. I'm tired of watching the world go to hell. It's my job to be a sheriff, to keep order. I have tried to keep order the right way. Well, apparently that's not working. And then when I realized, as my married baby mama was dying, that I'd already perverted justice by taking another man's wife, I said, why not go one step further? Can you imagine what'll happen tomorrow when all of this is over? And what'll happen next Thanksgiving? Black Friday sales will obviously go on, but the lines will be calm and cool because they won't know if I'm still out there or not. That would have been more interesting, in my opinion, because that would have made his character like, okay, I kind of agree with you. You've done this the wrong way, but I see where your thought process is. Instead of like, they took my baby mama. Oh, get over it.
My only complaint with the killer was I knew who it was the minute we saw him lying unconscious with the bloody wound, and he said that the killer snuck up on him because, again, rule number one of horror movies, if we, the audience, don't see the attack, then we know it's bullshit. It reminds me of when, I can't remember, you were in our review of Spiral, right?
Mm-mm.
You weren't in the Chris Rock Saw movie?
No, I missed that one. I was on set for that one.
I couldn't remember. Sorry. When you work this job, after a certain point, all the reviews just start blurring together in your head.
It's like, well, it's a horror one. Then Dorian had to be there.
There's this. You did see Spiral though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The scene with, they think that it's Chris Rock's character's partner has been killed and he's skinned so you can't actually see it. We all knew at that point that he was behind this, or there was something else going on, because we're sitting there going, you've shown all these other gruesome deaths. Why are you not showing his? Because he's still alive, because there was no act. The fact that we see Dempsey's character, the sheriff, lying unconscious on the ground, and when he goes in and fires a few bullets and we don't see anything, it's like, sweet merciful Christ on a cracker, this dude is the killer. Too obvious for us. I think it would have been better if he had come running in, and then he could have been a little bloodied up or something, saying, I saw the killer run this way. You know, we would believe that he just came around the corner at the same time as her. Have him run in first. Don't have him fire his gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe not even have him run and just saying, we're going to call backup before we go into there, like a smart cop would. Have him do that. And then, yeah, the bramble I thought was a good reveal. But again, if you show stuff and we're no longer the viewpoint of the audience, we're the viewpoint of the main character, we're going to have every red flag in the book go off.
Yeah. And it's, again, with this being a very, you know, this good old-fashioned slasher flick, it didn't bug me. But again, I'm a horror fan, so I'm already figuring out the mystery by the time the movie starts, and most other horror fans are. Now, there's some movies I do like to turn my brain off and go, take me down this, you know, let me be shocked, even though I really wouldn't be if I was really focusing on this. And in this case, I don't think it ruins or really even takes away from the movie that much, because there's so much before that more than makes up for this, the simplistic, you know, oh, he's the villain, we should have known, you know. Another thing I think we need to start working on, though, is if we're going to have multiple who is it moments, we need to make sure that the killer is about the right size. Because we're getting smarter now.
Actually, fun fact then, because apparently, again, on IMDb's trivia, Eli Roth actually hired multiple stunt actors to play the Carver in different parts. He wanted to make absolutely sure that no one in the audience was taking notes on how tall, how fat, how thin, how fast, how muscular the killer was.
That's actually where I was going. I was saying, like, Hollywood needs to do this more, because Roth did it this time and kept us guessing. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I probably should have read or digest that, so you weren't like, hang on now. But no, it's good. It's the villain reveal is pretty obvious, but it's also not, like I said, damning to the film. You know, it's a good slasher flick. Jason said it gave him I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes. What vibes, if you were gonna compare it to a previous slasher film, what would you say it was?
Actually, I Know What You Did Last Summer. This movie really got that, especially that ending scene with the dream sequence.
I'm gonna go yes for the dream sequence with last I Know What You Did Last Summer. This movie gave me, if I had to put it with something, I'd have to say the original My Bloody Valentine, and its remake in 2009 with Jensen Ackles.
See, I haven't seen the original My Bloody Valentine. It's on the list.
No, again, please no, go back and watch. My face wasn't, oh my God. It was, oh my God, really?
I'll tell you what, if you want to, why don't you come over in January for my Has-Been Hotel party, and then we'll do a double feature.
We wait till February, and then it's relevant to watch. But yeah, we're going to be there for the Has-Been Hotel thing anyways, because I got a lot of other friends that were like, hey, you're going to a Has-Been Hotel party? I don't know if it's actually happening because life is weird.
No, I am hosting a watch party at my house the night that premieres. January 19th, I think it is.
I think so, that's right. I have it on my calendar.
Yes, I want you, I want Ember, I want Ashley, I want Jay, I want the whole shebang here. I'll get Emo's pizza. Or not Emo's, Leo's pizza.
Emo's pizza. The pizza, man, it doesn't even matter. It's not a phase, it's a pizza.
Hey, you like Leo's pizza.
Oh, I do like Leo's pizza. It's just funny you said Emo's pizza, and that's just what I saw. It's just a swooped hair. It's not a phase, it's a pizza.
Freudian slip.
No, it's fine. I just thought it was funny. It makes a good joke. We're giving Mark all the TikTok moments here.
If we don't have a TikTok titled "That Damn Waffle Iron," I have failed as a host.
Right, curse you, waffle iron. But
I need to get you a waffle iron for Christmas now.
like cover it in like fake blood and shit.
Hey, I didn't get you a birthday present. I'll get you a waffle iron.
I have one.
No, you
do? Yeah, I was telling you I had, like, you were talking about the pancake maker that flips.
Oh, I thought you said you had. I thought you said had, past tense. My bad.
No. Like I have one currently. But no, I was gonna say with My Bloody Valentine, the very much, everything goes to hell. People get hurt because of a very stupid situation, and a year later, this killer emerges. But again, I want to be very clear. Even though I'm comparing it, or not even comparing it, but saying it gave me these vibes, that is because of something I've said earlier. Eli Roth is a huge avid student and lover of horror, and throwing in those things that that harken back. I mean, like Halloween very much is harkens back to Psycho. It's so sorry, took me off my train of thought. What was I saying? I know one or two of you have heckled, but I will kill you. Not for a waffle iron. But it's My Bloody Valentine obviously came out in 1981. It was a Canadian slasher film. And then it was remade in 2009 with Jensen Ackles called My Bloody Valentine 3D, which me and my friends jokingly call its subtitle My Bloody Valentine 3D, or 1001 Ways to Kill Someone with a Pickaxe. If you were ever curious on how to fucking do that. But yeah, this movie honestly is just... I keep saying it's fun. And I want to be very clear on that, because we live in a world now where we have people that we still have the whole rock and roll turns kids evil, video game turns kids evil, horror movie turns kids evil. No, they don't. And this is pure slasher fun. And what I mean by that is that we get to immerse ourselves in characters. The characters, and it's something we really haven't talked about. So I'll use this as a part to slide into my notes. These characters are not cookie cutters. They feel at first like cookie cutters, but the more that we spend time with them, you realize that the writer and the director meticulously crafted each one of them, like almost to the psychotic level of like there's note cards on one wall for like each character with like a drawing in the middle, and there's all these red lines, red yarn tied to the centerpiece. And because of that, those characters draw you in. Dempsey himself does not play a or like what I call, so we've already mentioned Palpatine in Star Wars. I hate it when they do this with villains, even if we know they're coming. The whole shot, I hate that, because it's like, I know he's the bad guy, but could you be nice to the people who may not know yet? So Dempsey plays a very, very interesting sheriff that seems like he wants to stop this and make it end, which in a way obviously he does. It's a brilliant whodunit without making the mystery so bogged down that you're like clawing through the stuffing trying to figure out who the hell it is.
It does do a good job with its red herrings, though.
It does.
There's quite a few. However, I hate to say it, we've been going on for nearly 2 hours now, and we should probably move on to the next segment, which is, of course...
We're in the money. We're in the money.
I've always wondered if this is the segment where everyone goes, okay, cool, time to go to bed.
We'll find out. Okay, now, technically, Thanksgiving came out November 17th. That's quite a bit ago. When it came out third against Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songs and Snakes, Trolls Band Together, and Thanksgiving. Took down The Marvels, which went from number 1 to number 4. Five Nights at Freddy's went from 2 to 5. The Taylor Swift movie 3 to 6. The Holdover 6 to 7. Also coming out that weekend was Next Goal Wins, which placed at number 8. 4 to 9 was Priscilla. 5 to 10, Killers of the Flower Moon. 8 to 11, Tiger 3. No idea what that is. 7 to 12, Journey to Bethlehem. And 9 to 13, Radical. And also debuting that weekend was Saltburn. So go ahead and pull up the other. Hang on a second. Tell me I got this right. Now, we're not going to talk about the money too much because we already went over this when Mark, Robert, and I reviewed Wish earlier this week. Spoiler alert, that movie was really not good. But right now, Hunger Games Ballad of Songs and Snakes is still holding on to number 1. Napoleon debuting at number 2. Wish debuting at number 3. Thanksgiving has moved down to number 5, but it's holding its own there pretty well. So we got that.
I mean, the fact that it's still at number 5 is, and especially after the quote unquote spooky season, that speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as horror films, the only competition it really has is Five Nights at Freddy's, and frankly, that's obviously a PG-13 horror movie, which has done insanely well despite getting same-day streaming release. So, props to them for that. And now let's go ahead and pull up the worldwide. I should have had these all pulled up earlier, but no, I screwed up.
I'm actually oh, sorry. Now it's up. Never mind.
Okay. Number 1, still holding strong, is Barbie. Number 2, Super Mario Brothers. Number 3, Oppenheimer. We got a bet going on because Oppenheimer just got a re-release into theaters. We really think that since they are so close, we really think they're trying to cross that $1 billion mark before the end of the year. Although I am pretty sure that it's going to cross that by I'd say midpoint next year, because you know that this is going to get another re-release when they release the Oscar nominations. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has moved up from number 5 to number 4. Congratulations, Disney. That is your only profit this year. Number 5, Fast X. Number 6, Across the Spider-Verse. Number 7, The Little Mermaid. Number 8, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Number 9, Elemental. Number 10, I want to know how the hell Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania has held on to number 10 for this long. And normally this is the point where we say, let's take a look at all the movies that are doing worse than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, or all the movies that are doing worse than Shazam! Fury of the Gods. But again, we already did that on our review of Wish. If you want to go ahead and check that out. Robert, Mark, and I did a very long discussion on that, and just what the hell is wrong with Disney right now? The network chat has pretty much been nothing but just discussions on, what is wrong with Disney.
I can vouch for that. I pop in every now and again on that chat, and I'm like, I feel like, again, since those of you who are fans know the whole joke about me being the kid in the back seat that won't shut up, is I always want to be like, did anyone see any good movies at all? There's just so much hate in this room.
That's true.
Dad fight.
This has been a rough year for movies. This is unfortunate. I mean, I'm with you. I am not the kind of person who sits back and goes, haha, the movies are all failing. Watch the mouse crumble around his kingdom. I want us to have good movies, and I want Disney to come back out with good movies. I miss good Disney movies.
Well, I think, honestly, you were saying that's only Disney's only profit this year, and I have to correct you, and that might be Disney's only film profits of the year. Because, again, toys, marketing, and stuff like that, the mouse is going, oh, no, I lost this much. Or, excuse me, oh, no, I lost this much. Oh, hell. Oh, Pluto, catch me, I'm falling.
That was cute.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I think we're about due if the circular idea of things is true. We're about due for another Disney Renaissance, because has been about 30, obviously has been, 30 years since the 90s, and that was the late 80s, early 90s, obviously, which was their heyday. So I think that we're due.
Sorry, was that you, Dorian?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Since my phone's Apple and my iPad's Apple and my computer's Apple, everything's connected. So instead of my phone just dinging that I have a text, it wants to let all of my devices know at one time that I have a text. So yes,
no problem. That was just really loud. I was like, whoa.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. That just kind of threw me for a loop.
I will be there at 9:30 tomorrow. I'm in charge of it. So yeah, I'll be there. Thank you. No, you're not watching the show, but if you go back and watch this, I'll know who you are. But yeah, I think we're due for another Disney Renaissance, and I'm excited about it. But at the same time, and I know this is usually the lane that I'm in for most of these reviews. I haven't seen Wish yet. I plan to, but these Disney movies, though not the magic that remember from our childhood or in our teenage years, are harmless. They're fun. Kids enjoy them, and honestly, that's the audience. People like us, again, even if we were still, like right into our 20s, we're not the audience anymore. So everything moves, everything evolves, and it has to. And I'm sure when we're 70, there'll be people in their 30s that are, bemoaning like, man, I miss the days of Wish. Remember those good Disney movies?
All right. Well, what do you say we go ahead and move on to?
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The other reviews.
All right. So currently Rotten Tomatoes has Thanksgiving sitting at an 83% tomato meter and a 79% audience score. The AI written critics consensus says combining belly bursting humor with delightfully over the top gore, Thanksgiving is a feast for Grindhouse fans.
I'd say that, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and find some people who gave negative reviews so we can make fun of them. David Grith is from Subculture Entertainment. While it had some interesting and creative kills, a lot of what you see in the film has already been done, and I know what you did last summer, Scream, My Bloody Valentine, and Valentine. I expected a little more from Eli Roth.
Okay, big kudos, Mr. Griffiths, for being amongst myself and maybe 10 other people on this planet that still remember the David Boreanaz Valentine movie. Thank you, sir.
I hate to admit it, I honestly get Valentine and My Bloody Valentine mixed up because at first when you said Jensen Ackles, I actually almost said, wait, I thought it was David Boreanaz. But yeah, you're right. Different movie.
Same haircut, different movie. Tell me I'm wrong. Just ruined so many lives just now and made so many haters. How dare you insult the Ackles? That's good.
All right. We're actually on the same page as Kevin Carr, fat guy from the movies. It's full of cliches, but that's kind of the point as a tribute to 80s slasher films. I wouldn't really call it a tribute to 80s slasher films, but I get where he's going with that. So
well, yeah, Mr. Radlich and I just did a on trial for Sleepy Hollow, where I said that Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, 1999, was a very big upgrade from the original story, but it is also very much a homage to the Hammer horror films of the late 50s and 60s. And that hill I'll die on. This is not a tribute band. This is, hey, I really like this, and I'm gonna make a song that's kind of in that style, but has interesting stuff that, you may have seen versions of before, but you haven't seen this one.
Yeah, just because the 80s was filled with slasher films doesn't mean a modern day slasher film is a tribute to 80s slasher films. Slasher films is its own genre. You can have a slasher film nowadays and not say that it's an homage to the 80s. But again, if that's what he takes away from it, not going to complain.
And hey, you gave it a good rating, so no hate, my dude.
Yeah. As opposed to Katie Walsh from the Tribune News Service, top critic. It might taste good for a bite or two, but Eli Roth's Thanksgiving isn't a full meal. You feel good about that, Katie? Aaron Newworth.
I was still drunk from Halloween or from Thanksgiving Day. The turkey was still in my brain.
Aaron Newworth from We Live Entertainment. Perhaps it's how unlikable I found most of the characters or just the tone of the evening, but while effectively moody and gory, it ultimately didn't play well for me as films like Terror Train or My Bloody Valentine. Can we get a counter of how many times we've referenced My Bloody Valentine tonight?
We're about 16 now.
You actually have been counting?
In my head, so I'm probably off by a few, but my math's usually right.
Edward Porter from the Times UK, top critic. The opening vision of Retail Hell proves to be the best horror sequence. The later murders are just basic ghoulish fun and rarely have a Thanksgiving theme. Really?
Did you watch the movie?
How could these have more of a Thanksgiving theme? Were you expecting the killer to pour hot gravy in their faces before you stabbed them?
No, he wanted the killer to have a plucky turkey sidekick as voiced by John Rhys Davies. So, since that was cut from the full film, as you can see, he's completely right.
If the turkey's plucky, shouldn't it have been voiced by Patton Oswalt?
Yeah, but that's a little overdone these days. So, we wanted to go in a slightly different direction.
Fair enough.
Please, Mark, do not use that clip because we are both too straight-faced and people will think we're right. Was John Rhys Davies supposed to be in Thanksgiving?
Kristen Maldonado from Pop Culture Planet. From the Black Friday Massacre to the horrifying Thanksgiving dinner, the kills are brutal and surprisingly wacky. Despite being helmed by Eli Roth and featuring rising stars, Thanksgiving is weighed down by a weak script and forgettable characters. It's not supposed to stand on its own it's a slasher film.
Name me a slasher film that has a strong script. I'll fight you on forgettable characters because they're not forgettable. But, they do fit into some of the regular slasher boxes. But again, find me a slasher film that has a tight Oscar-winning script.
Yeah, sorry, but even the classics like the original Friday the 13th and the original Halloween, yeah, they're not. Look, wow, it's totally dark. Yeah, I love both of those movies, obviously, but I am not going to quote any line from there and say that is Scorsese level written glorious,
Right.
cinema. All right, David Fear from Rolling Stone. Thanksgiving is less a movie than a messy attempt to coast off an oldie but goodie one-off without adding anything to the party. It can 100% go stuff itself. I get the feeling that this guy was really hoping we were going to get a feature length of the trailer with, that crazy amount of gore.
He wanted Grindhouse 2 Thanksgiving, not Eli Roth's vision.
Chris Sawin from Wealth of Geeks. Thanksgiving overflows with gross out violence and corny one-liners. Dude, do you watch slasher films? The dialogue grates the nerves and the characters play as one-dimensional and entitled imbeciles. Again, do you watch horror films in general?
I'm going to break in really right here. And if this person of our channel is watching, please understand this is not meant as an insult. This is meant as a clarification. We all know that Robert, who's been on in basically every show of this channel, is not a huge horror fan. He has said that multiple times. He does UFC stuff. I am not a big UFC fan. I would expect Robert's review of a horror film to be smarter than this person's, because it's like, hey, I don't like it, but and I think this is what's wrong with it, but I don't like horror. The same way I would go, it's two people beating the crap out of each other for like 45 minutes. I'd play Smash Brothers. It's going to be easier. The reason I bring this up is that I want, and again, Robert, nothing but love for you, man. And I love.
Why do you think Robert doesn't like horror? He's he, Jason and I are the unholy trinity for a reason.
Yeah, but he said before that he doesn't like horror, and you guys are like the balance point, or he's the balance point between you two. But no, the whole point of me saying that is like, again, you've said now for the last two reviews, and I just wanted to jump on it. It's like, do you even watch slasher films? It's like, don't send somebody who has no idea how it works. You don't send it. You just don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You.
Let's see here. Paul Whittington of Irish Independent. Thanksgiving is tired stuff, glib and nasty. Scooby-Doo was sadism.
No, that's a YouTube movie or YouTube short called Scooby-Doo versus Springtrap, which I do actually suggest.
Oh, yeah. Sidhand Adlaka from Mashable. Sir, I do apologize if I just, destroyed your name there. I did not intend to. Broad stroke types are hardly a weakness in the slasher subgenre. They can be wielded to tremendous effect. But when a work is this aesthetically dull and unoriginal, each retread of familiar tropes works against what little the movie is able to achieve. Okay, I'm getting the feeling these guys were going in expecting something really revolutionary coming out of Eli Roth instead of just a fun, standard, gory slasher flick.
Well, and again, I have to quote another member of actually the boss of this channel, Mr. Radlich, who was talking about the issue with all film having to be deep art. It's like, no, it doesn't. It's sometimes the simpler something is, the more enjoyable it is to an audience. That doesn't mean the audience is an idiot or are idiots in en masse. It's just we don't need a 3-hour, well, Oppenheimer, you know.
Pretty much. Let's see here. Gonna go one more screen down. If we don't see, I've seen a couple of other negatives, but I'm seeing a lot of repeats of them saying that it's this, you know, it's like it's not serving up any originality. It's like it's a slasher flick.
Well, then I got an idea. Why don't again, still see if we can find one of the channel's favorites, but why don't you and I, it's kind of off the cuff, do our own, like it's not going to be typed out, but like our own short review as if it would be written on Rotten Tomatoes. If we can't find someone we like.
Okay. Roger Moore, Movie Nation. I'm not sure noting that the script is seemingly intentionally bad is an endorsement. What?
You have a very unfortunate name, sir. I'm sorry. Every time you get read on this show, I'm just like, you're dead. What are you talking about? Those of you who don't get that joke, Roger Moore was the second James Bond.
I'm sure they get. Okay, you know what? I think we've gone through enough. Yeah, apparently everyone again was it's like, guys, yeah, this is not a movie pretending to be something it's not. And this is not a revolutionary next level of horror, okay? But we went in not expecting that. If you go in just expecting a fun, gory, over-the-top slasher flick with, yeah, more than a few red shirts that you know are going to get killed off pretty quickly, you're going to enjoy it. You know, again, this is very similar to a lot of other slashers that we've talked about multiple times, including My Bloody Valentine. There, 17. You know, if that's not your cup of tea, don't go see it. No harm, no foul. If you love a good scary movie and you love the classic slasher films of the 80s and 90s, you're going to love this.
Exactly. And you know what? Here's my Rotten Tomatoes review as a top critic on this show, or reviewer, I guess. Thanksgiving is a pretty normal spread, considering its genre. I'm putting together a few of my notes that I didn't get to say. With the film world the way it is these days, that it's smothered in not even subtext, but just screaming, ranting political or social commentary, Thanksgiving is just a good old-fashioned slasher flick that you can be thankful for. See? That was cool. That's how you do it. And I'm a filmmaker. I don't even review shit.
You're an inch away from becoming a Tick Bird review.
You're going to have to tell me what that is. I have no idea.
I think I've told you before in the past. That is the phrase that Robert and I coined when we find a positive review on Rotten Tomatoes from somebody who is clearly trying to get their quote on the poster or on the DVD release. Or, you know, those quotes that say that are clever and witty that clearly, yeah, we call those the Tick Birds.
I'll be on the cover. Eli, dude, hit me up. I'll be on the cover of the DVD. Don't give a shit. Hit me up. Then people buy it going, who the hell is Dorian Price?
What the hell is the Rattledge and Broadcasting Network?
Well, go to YouTube and find out. Like,
go to Discord. Go to Discord. Go to Twitter. Go to TikTok. All right. You know, for a simple over-the-top slasher film, we've been talking for over 2 freaking hours.
And I'm sure it's been very entertaining. Or we'll both be fired tomorrow. We'll find out.
Pretty much. Mr. Price, let's go ahead and move into the plugs. Would you be so kind as to tell our audience where they can find you?
Okay, obviously it's Phrike Pictures, as usual. I didn't do it this time because I had a funny Thanksgiving story because I thought we were going to have to stall for Jason. Long story short, when I was 1 year old, I was at a Thanksgiving party with a bunch of friends and family, and they had left a fully cooked pumpkin pie in front of me. And through Mission Impossible style goal, I pushed it close enough to me onto my high chair thing, but then realized I didn't know how to eat it because I'm still just 1 year old. So instead of just reaching into the pie with my hands, I headbutted it and came back up, and then used my hands to move the pie into my mouth, thus getting me the childhood nickname of Pumpkin Pie Face. Then
Can I start calling you that instead of the Pumpkin King?
Well, that's actually a fantastic segue where we're going. It wouldn't be till junior high when I started making everything scary for class parties that I got Pumpkin King. So in my case, it's a character arc. But yes, at Phrike Pictures, Phrike Pictures. I'm sure you know how to spell that. On Instagram, Twitter, if it needs to be filmed, photographed, hit us up. We give 4-star results for 2-star pricing, and you're not going to get anything better in this town. My apologies to my competitors who might be watching. Don't kill me, especially not over a waffle iron.
All right. Do we have you on for any more shows this year? I
don't think so. Mr. Rattledge and I have been talking about a few things. I was actually going to ask you and then obviously him later, if you didn't know, if we were going to review the obvious soon-to-be Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Knife.
I thought you were going to ask if we could review Silent Night.
No. There's a movie coming out called It's a Wonderful Knife, which is basically It's a Wonderful Life, but with a serial killer. It looks awesome. It looks stupid as fuck, but it looks awesome.
Send me the trailer.
Oh yeah.
All right. Now, as for me, this is not the last you're going to see of me within the next 24 hours, because I will be on again tomorrow morning with Mr. Mark Rattledge. We're going to be discussing Upload Season 3. I got to go binge the rest of that series. I'll be back next week also to talk about Scott Pilgrim Takes Off with Mr. Andrew Roscoe, and apparently Mr. Rattledge Jr., Mark Rattledge's son Jonas, has requested to come on our show. So we got a little podcaster in training who's going to come on. We're going to see how he does. Now,
he's going to take over the family business.
Well, you know, Mark's not leaving that to Robert and me.
Not if he has a brain cell.
Definitely not. Now, as for the plugs that actually do pay my bills, Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. Whoops, I need to update that. There's usually supposed to be 4 items there, but one of them sold. I need to fix that. Now, we did just wrap up our Black Friday to Cyber Monday sale, and no one died over waffle irons, I'd like to add.
You know you're going to have to make waffle iron jewelry now.
Pretty much. But we are still doing our charity drive, and this is going to go until Christmas Eve. For every item that is ordered either through here, this is our Etsy shop, or you can also find us on Handmade at Amazon. Every individual item posted through either of those, we will be donating $5 to St. Jude's. Last year we hit over $400. This year, just from the weekend alone, I think we're well over $150. So we're getting there. So if you are looking for some fun, unique, one-of-a-kind, geeky jewelry, go ahead and head on over, because not only are you going to find some awesome accessories, but you are going to be helping a very wonderful cause. Again, that's Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I still refuse to call it X. And yes, I am on TikTok because I gave up my soul to social media. So thank you for sticking with us for this review that really went longer than I think either of us were expecting. Again, this is what happens when you put Dorian and me together in a room. We just don't know how to shut the hell up.
We just love movies that much. And
we do.
Entertain you.
So for myself, for Mr. Price, and again for Mr. Teasley, we're sorry that you couldn't join us for the whole thing, but we're glad we had you on when we did. Be well, behave, be safe. I want to go make a waffle.